question.
So use my Nikon D4S, or I'll use a Canon 1DX at work, depending on what type of weather it is. If it's raining, I'd rather destroy a work camera than my own. So yeah, use that. And I've got a D700 as well, which is a little bit of a backup, or I use it as time lapse, or just sort of the backup.
Full frame.
Yeah, full frame. Yep, full frame. The D4S you can turn the crop sensor on, so you can actually turn it into a crop sensor camera, which gives you that extra bit of reach when you're shooting sport, or you're in a press conference situation or something, and you only got your 24-70 on. You can hit that and just give you a bit more.
So your 200mm turns into a 300mm.
300mm, yeah. So you've just got that little bit more length. Quality goes a little bit, but not enough to hurt you. Like, if I looked at today's paper, you'd probably find the one I did of this girl holding the cup up on the weekend. I had to get in a bit closer because I was ready for the celebration, so I wasn't going to change lenses, so I just had to do what I had on one body. Eventually I'll probably try and do two bodies, but I don't really like shooting the two bodies. I'd rather just go one a bit more.
They're all on one thing then?
Yeah. I wish there was a way you could sync both up so that you could, if you had the settings on one, it would automatically do it on the other one. Which some people would hate, but I reckon that'd be really handy for what I do. Cool. So if you somehow the little thing would talk to another thing, and it would change the shutter on there for you when you change it here. So when you pick up the other one, you're still in the same exposure. That would be that'd be awesome. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
So something to recommend a Nikon. Hey?
Something for you to invent.
Yeah, something for me to innovate.
When you go,
I don't know how.
Was it the Joe McNally sponsored?
Yeah. You get my name on there.
Mark Jesser.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Very cool.
What was the first camera you reckon you started with?
First one was a little Olympus point and shoot. That was pretty crabby. Then you used to have to slide this thing across to open to see the lens, and then it would also turn the camera on, and then after a while that just went. And it was like $100 camera. But the first decent SLR was the D40, so it was pretty probably.
That's still nickel.
Yeah, so it was probably equivalent to like a D5000 or something. So that was pretty cool. And then after sort of wearing it out a bit, I went to the D90, which the D90 had, I think, if my memory's right, the D90 had the dual. You got your bits here and you got your bits here to scroll. Well, I think the 40 only had it at the front, which at the time I was getting really frustrated with, because I was trying to learn manual, and it's really hard to learn manual when you've only got one spinner.
Yeah, I think mine's only got one spinner.
Yeah. So you got to hold that.
Hold function button and do this, or hold that and do that.
Just a bit frustrating. So because I wore the other one out, it was a good excuse to get the D90 and pay back my mother a lot of money. But yeah, D90 was good. We got some what are they? So I had the so these are SB 900s. I had the 600s, which was the really basic one, and I had one of them. And then I sort of learned how to use one, the really crap, it's not crap, it's just not very powerful and doesn't have many functions. So then I bought the bungee lead, so you put it on your top of your camera, bungee across to your flash, and you can sort of hold it out here, hold it up here, and down here. And so but I've still got that because it's really handy for, just the scenarios of having cameras, and you can link two cameras together with it. So I learned how to start playing with flash with the D90 and the bungee cord, which was cool.
launch.
Yeah, it
mode.
goes in that way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet. Next question. What else do you want to know about? What's in there? You know what camera is used?
I've asked questions. Everybody's
How much were the flash things you got?
How much were they? Or this one? Or
The small ones, the ones you were just talking about?
I think the 600, the first one I had, because I've pretty much destroyed it, and there's two more 700s, which is the medium range one. They're near dead too. So they're, I think they're about $500. You can buy them off eBay, probably 250 or something, but brand new, they're about $500. And then the SB700, which is the two I've got, are near dead as well. They're about $700. And then 9. It's actually quite funny because now I think about it, roughly what the 900, 700, and 600 is roughly what they're worth in the shop. So yeah, this is about $900.
Yeah, which is about 9 gin buys. Or not
Well,
9 gin buys, 9
one of-
Yongnu
Yeah.
or gin buy branded speed lights or
Yeah.
something.
So I don't know. Would I buy them again? Proper Nikon ones, probably, but only because they can talk and. But these slave. Well, the Canon ones won't slave. So you use your big flash and the little slave here. When optical one, so this will see that one go off and go bang. Canon doesn't do that, so you can't. Yeah, they're useless essentially when it comes to using big flashes and little flashes. They're useless unless you go and put cactuses on the bottom of all of them. It's just a bit of a pain in the bum and expensive.
Yeah.
So will they slave off your camera flash? Or is that fair enough?
Well, I don't
No-
have
no
I don't
flash
have a
on
pop up.
Oh,
More
But
you
yeah,
pay,
if
more
you
the
did,
pay,
yeah.
less you get. Yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
There really is no flash on that. Huh.
Nah. So yeah,
No running man mode either, or any of those automatic stuff.
So, but the D700 has the pop-up flash because the D700 I think was the first one that they did with some sort of flash system.
I think the 800s do
Inbuilt.
too.
Yeah, 800s do I think. But yeah, it will go off there. But the 700 and probably the 800s have got the inbuilt flash controller unit, so they call it a commander mode. So when the pop-up flash will send a signal to these to then talk and do their weird thing. So yeah, you can control that from the actual camera, which is pretty cool. So yeah, and it's handy for when you're on the road and something dies or something goes flat or you break something or something falls off something. You always have some sort of way of getting out of trouble. So, I know that I can, fire this into the softbox in a dark room and get still nice light. I know that if something goes wrong with that cactus thing, I can shove that on there, slave this one, or, I can, heaps of little work something out to try and get out of trouble. Yeah.
So yeah, it's clever.
So you don't have the one camera bag? No.
So
I think.
you have more equipment than that.
Oh yeah.
Really.
This is I only bought this bag for the airplane.
Silly question, I
Yeah.
guess.
Well,
No.
you've built it over a couple of years.
Yeah. So I've got my two old cameras. I've got an old 80 to 200.
So you keep all your older
Yeah,
equipment.
yeah.
You don't get
No.
traded in for something.
Oh, the only thing I've given away was a 50mm to a young guy that I was a bit unknown if I should have given it to him, but I gave it to him. And I've got a 300mm film lens as well, which is pretty good, but she's either in or she's out. There's no in between. So it's a really nice lens, but if you're out for some reason or it doesn't work on the day, you just might as well put it in the bin. But it's good to have as a backup, because if I drop the 70-200 or whatever, I've got backups. And I've got even like the plastic kit lens that comes with your camera, the 18-55. I've even got that still, just as a, more, if I need something to get me out of trouble. And then of course there's all works gear, so 600, 400, 300, all that sort of stuff that you have on your disposal if you need it to. So yeah, carry some gear. Plus all fire kits, first aid kits, gum boots, spare pair of pants, undies, socks, helmet,
Whatever you
boots,
need.
heaps of crap. I just, yeah,
Carry a bit.
carry a bit of stuff. Toilet paper, always go with toilet paper. Yeah.
How far do you travel with paper?
Anywhere from Deniliquin, Omeo now. I would never have thought Omeo, but Omeo the other day to Henty probably maybe, or a bit further out in the scrub out there, and then all the way down to Benalla. So, and then of course, I do a bit of private stuff as well, which takes me even more south. So, yeah.
What's in your box?
That's a 400 mil.
Oh, I have to be.
The big baby.
So is that yours or is that work?
That's mine.
So that's legit yours.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can't say I had to pay for it though. I'd love to say I had to pay for it, but I didn't. There's a lot of hard work and just be in the right place at the right time
Yeah, cool.
to get it.
So the kit you bought, the 70 to 200,
Yep.
2.8.
Yep.
Well, that's it. Like,
No.
No. It's not like the Canon.
No. 1424.
Yep. So that's the ultra wide.
Yep. 2470.
Yep.
The medium.
And that's like the Trinity, the
Yeah,
Holy
it's,
Trinity.
That's
Every.
really
Father, Son, Holy
Yeah.
Ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then an 85 mil, which I don't know. Some days I like it, other days I'd rather put in the bin. But
So that's like just a fixed portrait-y kind of.
yeah, good for portraits. Yeah, you get down to 1.8 if you have to. Yeah, I don't know. I'm undecided if it's actually worth the money. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
What
I'm-
would you say your favourite lens would be? Like if you could only pick one lens to go, I don't know.
Desert
Oh.
Island.
Well, I try and always travel with the 70-200.
Which is that one?
This one, because you can, like a lot of times, like I have that connected in the back of the car, so if I come across a crash, a fire, a police job, a cute kid running in the street, like I can just go and have the photo pretty much. So that's probably the one I always have on all the time. But I don't know if it's my favourite, but yeah, it's the one I rely on the most. Because it's got that little bit of, not wideness, but it's got the 70 mil sort of, a little bit of what your eyes see. And then you got all the way to 200, which gives you that bit of zoom when you need to get a bit of distance.
Nice. Questions from the pit? Anyone write any questions down for the barrel? Do you want to go in the barrel?
Oh, yeah.
in the bowl.
In the bowl? Barrel. It's just a bowl. So this is just an assortment of random questions that pop up every now and then.
Yeah.
Which are on post-its. And if you come up with a question in between these, or if they lead off to anything, we can definitely prioritise your questions over the post-its. Although some of them are pretty good.
Yeah, I was like, just laughed and then thought I better read it out.
What do you got?
How do you photograph something you don't want to?
So you don't want to photograph blue tongue lizards today, or you don't want to photograph that guy in the car because he's a bit aggressive.
Okay, so I'll tell you a story the other week. So I didn't want to. So you get sent down to court to do all the criminals and shit. Oh, sorry, beep.
That's going to be really hard to edit out. I haven't worked out how to do beeps yet.
So you got sent down to court to photograph the bloke that tried to put the bomb thing in the airplane at Albury Airport, whatever it was, the note in the toilet.
I don't remember that story.
And you get
Yeah.
you get given like a rough description of like either by the cops or via Facebook or whatever. So you get a rough idea on who you're looking for. So I got told I needed a male, blah, 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 you know, roughly 30s, whatever. And I was like, oh. So standing there and don't like doing it, hate it. And so I'm just get a photo of every idiot that walks past you looking like he's going in the corner. There's this one bloke that sort of snuck away from me. And I was like, oh, you're playing funny buggers, which probably means you're someone we want a photo of. So anyway, they sort of came out of court and they must have had a little break or something. So they come out of court and they're hiding around the corner doing their thing. And I was like, oh, God. Anyway, so 70-200 on the camera, on the passenger seat, just drive off, do a lap of the street, window down. So I've hit the brake in the middle of the road, gone toot 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 in the horn. He's turning around, I'm going ting 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 ting. Did the window up and drove straight off. So nah, it's not even him. So what of for a guy that we didn't even want a photo of. So yeah, you know, there's sneaky stuff like that where you've got to, you know, or you'd be like, oh hey Ben, how are you? And you'd be like, you know, holding your camera like, oh hey Ben, how are you? Yeah, good. And then just, you know, so or like the one of the guy on ice in the hospital. We were told by the hospital we weren't allowed to take his photo. He's really agitative and off his face. So I'm sort of like,
What was that noise?
Does your camera have silent shutter?
yeah, it's a little bit. It's not that great.
It's a lot.
It's not bad. It's that near.
It sounds the same.
So in a hospital, in a hospital it was like, and then like the other week there was like a bloke that was I had to get a photo of, and he didn't want his photo saying it was pretty obvious, and so I did this. I thought this was pretty funny. Where's my mind put Benny?
Over here. Yeah. Yep. Thanks, Freddie.
I'll give you a demo. Maybe turn the video off.
We'll edit it. In.
Zoomed in. So it was at like a football game, and this guy was supposed to be doing some announcement to his players, and he didn't want to be in a photo. And pretty not happy to see me, I can tell you. But I sort of had to get the photo of him. So I
And you had to buy because your editor have said
yeah, we want a
your
photo of him.
paycheck depends on this.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I did this. So I'm like, so I've got the LCD screen on, and I'm like aiming like at him. So he's like, oh yeah, so he's roughly. So you get your focus, and then you're just watching the game. And you know, the whole time I've got him framed up nicely, just looking like I'm taking a little break. Got him. Idiot. But you know, so there's tricks like that where you gotta sometimes you gotta
You gotta be sneaky.
yeah, you have to. Yeah. Which is a bit of a pain in the ass, but yeah.
And stay safe.
Stay safe without getting run over. Like another story I could tell. Yeah, so yeah. I had like this person try and grab my camera from behind when I was at court in Tassie. So I'm like trying to like, so Ben's me, and so like I'm focused on like this weirdo going out of the court, and this person comes up and tries to like grab my camera off my via the strap.
Oh.
I'm like, wait, what are you doing? And, oh no, take a photo of my relative or some shit. So, yeah, not too bad. Yeah, been pushed a few times. I've been videoed. I like had someone like put the video in front of me and be like, "What are you doing?" Like,
I've got proof.
yeah, I'm filming you. Like, I'm like, oh, yeah, whatever. Yeah, so.
Follow-ups? Shall we go to the barrel again?
How would you start using flash? Buy one and get like a cheap little cactus or a cable or something, just cheap one. You don't have to do anything like, you don't have to go out and spend $900. Probably not worth $900. Really.
Well, you don't have to. You used to. I remember the cheapest flash I could get once was $700.
Yeah.
It was like you buy your Canon or you buy the one that goes with your brand, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, now you can buy heaps of different cheapy Chinese brands for like $150 $200.
And would you run it? How would you run it then? In manual mode? Alicia talked a little bit about this last time. How she said you might start off.
Like, I don't rate TTL, but then I don't fully commit enough time to learn it, because it's its own brain, but its own brain that can be manipulated. And if you know how to manipulate its brain, then yeah, it works great.
Through the lens. So it's when the camera's metering the flash and making its decisions. So if you watch Joe McNally on YouTube, he's very good at understanding the TTL brain. If you watch me use TTL on YouTube, it's a hot mess. I would much rather just know that the same amount of light's coming out of the flash every time I squeeze the trigger, and move it further away or closer to, or increase my F number or decrease my F number. Yeah.
And then you sort of get formulas. Like, I know a formula for photographing someone against the sun. I know a formula for inside off the roof with my bounce card up. I know my formula. So you have a rough formula to go to.
You're doing it all the time.
Yeah, you get like it's like when you go and shoot like backlit football versus sun frontlit football. It's the same setting every time. You can almost bloody somehow program it. Like, it's pretty consistent.
You put a colour card up, like when you go to take photos.
Not often. I love the Nikon because on your white balance you can hit the preset and turn your LCD screen on. And when I'll show you.
Do you want a shorter lens?
So, what's white? You got that piece of paper there, Benny? So, in your white balance down here, there's one that says pre. So I can turn so at the moment it's off because it's showing you it's pretty crabby. If I hit that and hold it in, it now is asking me to measure it. So if I hit the middle button there, it's just taking the data reading off his white. Turn that off, and then it's pretty shitty shots. Sorry, pretty crappy. But that's now not probably exposure-wise not perfect, but that colour-wise is bang on. So I use that a bit. Yeah, so I use that a bit.
So you're telling it this is white, and it should be able to map all the other colours from there based on.
Yeah, so
colour science.
At the moment, that's probably technically over colour. I want to play with other stuff. It costs you a bit software-wise to get it to do stuff. Like, I can play white balance tricks and things, but yeah, that's probably where I take a reading. So something like last night I was shooting a girlfriend up at Hugh and Hill for wearing some product thing for a private client. Anyway, the colours are really important for them. So I've taken a white balance reading, but with flash, of her holding the piece of paper first, and the difference between the sky before and after, and the colours before and after it's incredible. And for a normal news job, you wouldn't care, but for that sort of colour stuff, they need their colour pretty close to bang on. So.
And that cut crops up when you don't expect it. For example, with brides looking at their wedding photos when they return, and the bridesmaids' dresses are a different shade of navy, and they want it to look correct.
Which is pain in the bum.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I found, I'm not big on track I guess, but I was taking tiles and glossy ceramic tiles to try and get their true colours. I was really having trouble. I ended up taking them outside.
Yeah.
In natural light.
Yeah, it's tricky to.
And then even like with the dark ones predominantly because the black was
Yeah.
there was a couple of different shades of black.
Yep.
And then there's a dark blue and a burgundy and a dark green.
Like not that we.
Getting those colours up.
Yeah, not that we use light meters much anymore. There's a little one you can get for your iPhone, which one day I'll find it again, and it's a tiny little thing that jams in your iPhone. It would be good for that because you can take a reading on what it should be, take a photo of your tile, and then it should be able to be So similar idea to that, but you jam the actual device on top, so it's probably a bit more accurate with the little device thing on top, and it'll take a reading. So you know what your exposure has to be, but then you manipulate it for the tile or the colour or whatever.
Sweet.
But outside would be more true than inside for sure. Yeah. Next question.
Let's do it. And
What's the highest ISO you'd use?
is there an ISO speed you would never go past?
Hell no.
Yeah,
No,
right.
well, I need the photo, so it doesn't matter how grainy it is. Sometimes you need the photo. So there's a shot I did at Tassie of a siege that went for 36 hours or something, and I was there for 26 hours of it. And there's a shot of these two heavily armed coppers crossing the street. Only light on in the whole street was the street light because they'd turned off his power to his house and all the houses in the street. So the only light for some reason was this street light because all the others were off. So I don't know how the hell they got this one on, but that was on. So I had to shoot this shot of these blokes going across the road. They're semi-silhouetted. I wish I could find it. They're semi-silhouetted and they're crossing the street, and it's like a bazillion ISO on a tripod, 400mm slow shutter, just praying that like they have a little moment when they walk across the road, you know. So yeah, ISO like that one of the guy in the car with the finger up, that would have been a bazillion ISO, just a little pop of flash, and then a little bit of depth with your aperture. Yeah, there's no ISO I won't go.
I love it. You get the photo. Do you want me to read this one out for you?
Okay.
Give you an element of surprise. Ooh. What's the best way to photograph groups of people?
On a ladder.
What, you get them on the ladder?
Well, sometimes. Well, actually, yeah, the other week I did.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, with these firefighters, but they're only because they're firefighters. No, so yeah, most times you try and get a vantage point from above, or you try and like, use a wide lens and sort of stagger them a bit, so they're a bit here, there, everywhere, to keep them in the group. But yeah, mostly above.
Wide angle lens also lends itself to a deeper depth of field because of
Correct.
how the lens works.
Yep. So you get a lot more in focus, especially with groups. Most of it's just trying to get high. Sometimes I like put the wide on, put the wide on the 14 or 20, put the 14-24 on, and then I'll some car show. Miller. Daniel Wangerada. And got sent out there to do
Cheese district. You are in for a treat. You've got somewhere new to go to.
cheese and wine. Yeah. And so I got sent there, and I had both the 1DX and my D4 in the back. So I had both. So I was like, oh yeah, should be right, whatever. Easy day, whatever, driving Miller. Somehow, and I still don't know how, I had some weird memory card dilemma. So I put this memory card in the 1DX, and all of a sudden she just shuts down. Don't want to work. Don't want to turn on. Don't want 1 minute's on, 1 minute's off. 1 minute's taking a phone, next minute's not. And then all of a sudden, it didn't work. So I was like, oh, well, I'll just take memory card out of that and stick it in the D4. And it did the same thing to my D4. Which I still don't know what happened. So it's stopped everything from working. So I was like So I'm like trying to ring people, no one answers the phone. And so I normally carry, and there is in one of my little bags, there's a couple of SD cards. And I carry them because they're like a worst case scenario. And this was one of them. And I had one. And so I went up to this Asian tourist that was having a great time on the wine, and I said, "Can I borrow your camera?" And they're like, "No." So that was a no-go. But then I went to this other lady, and she was a bit umming and ahhing. Then I went to like the Miller Cheese people, and I was like, "Oh, have you got a camera that I can like jam this thing into?" And cameras died, and trying to get them to feel sorry for me. No one cared. And then there was this. I know. I know. No one cared, right? And then there was this old dude that pulled up in his fancy-looking car, and his wife, like, you know, typical, like, "Oh yeah, everybody!" Like, you know, so she's having a great time, like, you know, plenty of money, whatever. So she has this little tiny point and shoot, and I had no idea how to use it. And I jammed the memory card in. She was all cool with it, and I had a reflector, and I've literally just gone, "Sun there, roughly 45. You know, we'll just go, hold that there for me, love," and then somehow using this thing and going, "Ding, yeah, I think it's in focus, ding." And I shot all these photos. Kid you not, there's probably like one in there that was usable.
Hey!
And so I delivered that, and no one cared. So the photo was pretty ordinary, but I got the photo. So sometimes you got to, like, I could have done the iPhone. That was borderline where we were at, but you're better off to try and use something that's got a bit more megapixels to then lift the hell out of it in Photoshop and tweak it and sharpen it and, you know, try to make it look half respectable. So yeah, that was one of my most crazy. Or I fried the memory card somehow on the mountain, taking the pictures of the people doing karate on the hill up Mount Feathertop. Somehow moisture, I think, got the better of me, and I'm out there and just wouldn't turn on, and I could smell burnt. Just smell the burn smell, and I was like, yeah, she's over. So whatever I had, I think I shot like 70 frames. Those 70 frames are the only frames I had.
Yeah.
That was it. Didn't have a spare, I didn't have no other camera. It was just these randoms on a mountain, and I took the photo. So yeah.
Questions? Go for it.
You've been a few times like. Do you watermark? Nah, not really. At the start, I was sort of like, at the start, I was probably like, I suppose it's a bit of a brand building thing, bit of an ownership thing. But for like my website, no one wants to go on my website and see watermarks. No one. Like, then they're not really something they're going to steal either. Like if you were selling stock pictures, which eventually I'll probably do something like that, yeah, you'd want to watermark them so no one flogs the hire. No.
And they give you recognition.
Yeah, that's right. And a lot of times people will send photos to us and they're watermarked, and we just don't use them because it's too much hassle to try and email them back and explain why and muck around. And so yeah, most times I don't. Unless, like, there's a few times on Twitter where we've got an exclusive and you'll put the watermark on it, but yeah, most times you don't worry about it. Yeah. Don't know. Like if you're gonna steal it, they're gonna steal it, and you're gonna crop your watermark or Photoshop over it, or and then if they use it, the idiots, and then you can prove that you shot it, you just go, "Hey guys, that'll be $1,000, thanks," and just annoy them until they pay you. A bit hard to threaten them legally, but you can do it if you, depending on what they've done with your picture. So yeah.
Good answer. Questions on that one? Love it. I think I haven't got left.
3. Strobe or reflector?
You don't have to answer it right away. You can think about it. You don't have to jump right in there.
I like flash just because of what you can do with it. And a lot of times I'm working on my own, so flash is...
It's hard to hold a reflector.
That's right. Yeah. So flash is a little bit more, work on your own sort of stuff. I've seen some good stuff done with reflectors on beaches and things like that, like really big ones, huge. The next thing I want to do is, you buy core flute panels. You know what core flute is? Like your sign plastic they normally have with the rivets in the corner.
We've got a heap of it up in the back cave, black and white sheets.
Yeah, so I want to eventually get I've got 2 or 3 pieces, but I want to get how do I describe it? You know when you're like concertina sort of thing, so you can collapse it. So I want to put white gaff on one side, and then on the other side, and then the other side, and then the other side, and then have a concertina, so you can pull out this huge reflector and have it be massive, but it only folds down to this little thing. Yeah, just because some shots you want that dreamier, softer sort of thing, but you still need the fill. You can't. Yeah.
You just can't flash it.
No, and then you can't you can take the photo and try and in RAW bring it back, but if the information's not there, you're struggling before you begin.
I mean, it's a catch-22 because reflectors are so much easier to learn because you can see it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have your camera in full manual mode. You can still shoot an aperture priority or something, and the camera can think with the reflector because it can see it.
Sometimes white delivery vans, you can bring someone up close to a white delivery van and just watch it change the closer you get to the van.
You know, on Wodonga Road, the old Rivers shop, it's just tin wall for days. Oh, that's the best free reflector any afternoon.
Yeah. So, and you can even flash the bloody van if you wanted to.
Yeah,
turn it into bounce it off your van. So,
but flash takes longer to learn, but I think once you get it in your head, it's super easy.
Yeah, and you can push out photos that are pretty close to bang on within minutes. So if you're, doing a school graduation or something and you got 40 girls all dressed up and you've got to get a photo of every single one, a reflector with changing light sources, and you just get the flash and line them up, get the right exposure, and bang, stand there, bang, stand there, bang, stand there. Bit of a sausage factory, but sometimes it's the best way to go. Should you work for free?
Whoa! It's a big one.
That's got to get through customs. No spitting on that.
Sorry.
I never know what dog might sniff something out.
Are you going to Sydney? Didn't they just find something in Sydney?
Yeah. Sort of, yeah. Plot. A terror plot. Should you work for free? Yes and no. I don't know. I'm at the point where I try and not work for free because then, I don't know, I've got too much crap. I got cars and I got to eat and all that sort of stuff. But at the same time...
Are you working for free right now?
Oh, hell yeah. So, but
wow.
Ben's bought me lunch, so it's not technically free, is it?
It's definitely, there's no money exchanging hands.
No.
But he will extract favours, no doubt.
Like that tripod the other night. Ben, I need a tripod. I'm flipping one with you.
Come around, grab my tripod. How many times did you come in here when you bought a mail computer's blown up?
A few times.
Yeah, so,
So, yeah.
We square up.
It's getting taken.
Yeah. So, there's definitely times where working for free has its benefits. But you just got to be careful that the benefits don't get squeezed out of you too much.
Yeah.
But you gotta, like I said, you gotta build the work by doing it somehow, and then eventually you get paid for it.
Yeah. I like this question. Should you work for free? Yes and no. Great answer. Should you work for nothing? Never.
Yeah.
I don't care whether it's a free dinner. I've worked for dinner before or anything like that.
I'm working for dinner at the moment.
Well, I mean, is it ever really for nothing when it's experience anyway?
Well, that's right.
If you're getting value out of it, it's cool. It's when it's that super casual. Ebs, can you come shoot my wedding? And I'll just be a couple of pictures. You'll still be able to get drunk. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And then all of a sudden you get there and it's bridezilla mode, and there's no other photographer, and it's and it's huge and it's on you, and that's when you know you've been rorted. So, yeah. It's the best people who do this kind of for exchange, even do it in contracts. They will do up their contract with their regular pricing. They'll put a line through it saying, say if it's a $300 shoot, there's a $300 discount, and then they go through and they list what's happening and what's not happening.
So I'm doing a job at the moment that, so they've paid for this bag, paid for new brackets, paid for new light stands, paid for all this crap. So they paid for all this. So I haven't paid for this. That's like a $700 bag.
Yeah.
So, you barter. Another guy at the moment, I'm shooting food for him, and I'm getting like 3 or 4 dinners out of him, like high class dinners. So, really.
I mean, you need to be able to pay rent, but if you're paying rent, money can be a really boring way to get paid too. Like,
and you also gotta weigh it up a bit. It's like, what do you get out of it? There's been times where I've gone and done work for free, and you just look at it later and go, why did I do this? But then you figure out later that you go, oh well, I've learned not to do this, or I've learned, you just pick stuff up.
I got conned.
Yeah.
It was a family friend,
Yep.
and it was his brother-in-law's daughter, and they didn't have anybody, but there'd be a lot of people with cameras.
Yeah.
We just want you to take a few. So get there and it's all, Rick, can you do this? Rick, can you take this one? Can you take this one? And I'm like, God. And it was all on grass and places and downhill and uphill, and it wasn't easy. I'm like,
what do I sign up for?
Yeah. You got to have at least one of them in your life.
no.
Two,
In my case,
it starts to become your fault. You know what I mean? Like once is fine.
I got two.
It's a bit...
Shutter speeds and flash.
Yeah. So how do they relate to each other?
So shutter speeds controlling your shutter speeds controlling your ambient light, so the light that's in here at the moment, and flash is controlling is controlled by your aperture. So F10, F9, F7, whatever. But then they also have a carryover, which can be a bit frustrating, but what's a good example of a carryover?
Well, the obvious one's shutter speed, because the flash is coming out of the light so fast. Your shutter speed's either going to be slow enough to see it, or it's going to be so fast that you won't see it at all.
So that's where you get that black thing.
Black, mirror.
But sometimes you won't get the bars. If ambient light's hitting the spots where those bars would appear, you won't see it. So if you're shooting flash outside, beyond your sync speed, you can sometimes just see your photo on the back of the camera and go, the flash isn't working. Yeah. It's really obvious in the studio where it's all flash. There's no ambient. Yeah, but
I did a shot down Dean Street, trying to get the fairy lights, but then also lighter, quite well. So on a tripod, fairly slow, and using flash, and you just watch the skin tone change because the ambient light from the fairy lights in the street are hitting her, but then so is my flash. So I ended up putting a couple of the black sheets, trying to hang some black sheets off white light stands to try and reduce it. In an ideal world, I probably should have gone and got the C stand and put a black one above her head so that it's shaded up from the fairy light, so she wouldn't be hit from the fairy light. But I sort of just
Like the umbrellas did that.
yeah.
Rainy.
Yep.
so just little tricks like that to try and manipulate it.
Lovely. A couple more.
Keep your hands over it. Just keep putting new ones in. Yeah.
When do you guys want to get home? early marks.
How hard is starting?
You're supposed to be doing something else, like on the schedule it says.
Are we? I thought we were at the end.
It says.
I'll check the schedule while you.
How hard is starting? You mean like starting out?
Starting out, yeah.
Yeah, tricky. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's pretty hard. Like the first problem I found was I wanted the equipment to then go and try and shoot this stuff, but then I couldn't shoot the stuff because I didn't have the access to shoot the stuff. So then I sort of had to. I was very lucky. I had the old owner, I think he's passed away now, of Shepparton Camera House. Went in there trying to get him to sponsor this photo competition thing that I was running, part of my school project, and he sort of was like, "Oh no, I can't really do that." Anyway, and then a couple of weeks later, I destroyed my D90 and I needed a better camera. So I was pretty lucky that he sort of said, "Oh, well, here, have the camera, have the lens, and just pay me back every week, you know, whatever you've got." Which was pretty sort of like a interest-free thing, but not an interest-free thing. So I was pretty lucky. So every time I shot some sort of thing, I'd send it straight to him. So I had the account on the phone. I just go, "Oh, here, I pay for this date. Pay for this date." So sometimes it was like $70, sometimes it was like $100. So I used to have this theory that $100 jobs. So you go and like try and do something for $100, and that would be the way that you would pay it off. So so that was the equipment side of things. But you know, trying to shoot stuff, you just have to. "Oh, I'll take a couple of photos for you. I'll take a couple of photos for you."
What do you reckon? Were you always really confident, like using the camera?
No.
When do you reckon you were like, "Oh, check this out," kind of thing?
Well, so this is why I like photographing trains at the start, because you didn't have to talk to anyone. You'd literally stand by the rail line and just wait for the damn thing to turn up, and you had a rough idea from timetables and patterns of trains when they'd show up. So it was really easy. Oh no, wow, not with V-line. Not with V-line, no, not now.
Sorry, slow. I got it.
Yeah. It's funny because the other week they sent me out to photograph the new colour scheme, and I can't wait at this level crossing, and I knew what time it was going to be there, but it wasn't going to be there until like 25 minutes later. And they're like, "Why aren't you back yet?" Like, but no. So sorry, I went off topic.
When did you get the confidence?
Oh yeah. So and then sort of from the newspaper, I was still too much of a chicken to photograph any people. So then I shooted sport. So that's how I've sort of become quite understanding of how to shoot sport, because I just go and shoot the netball and the football every weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Go and shoot it, and the boss give you like $40. So then from there I sort of was like, then people were like asking for like photos of their kids that playing sport. So then I'd like have to like try and barter with the parents, and so I don't know. I sort of like, I still think I was pretty ordinary. Even when I first started the paper, I felt like I was still pretty ordinary. And then once you have like this formula of what you can pull off within seconds, that's when you start to be a bit more confident at it, I guess. But being thrown in the deep end is like, it's hell. And like, the amount of times I've come out of a job and I'm just like so sweaty. I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, like, you know, you still get, even like going to do court, I still get all like, or going to shoot the, you know, even the premiere, because you know that like if all the other media are there and you miss the photo, your bum's gonna be sore later. So you know, you still sort of get that, but yeah, on a day-to-day basis, you just sort of try and figure out their personality and then try and match it, or try and, you know, have a joke about standing on these flowers, or, you know, like telling him that you tell her that her check shirt's amazing, and that, you know, "Oh, where'd you get that from? You know, like, why are you rocking that? How did you end up with that?" Like, you know, you just got to try and break the ice a bit. But then, yeah, you find you get better at it after practice. But then it's awkward too, because when you don't have the camera, you're like, yeah, a bit more tiptoeing. It's weird actually. Like, if you don't have the camera on, yeah,
Camera is your confidence.
Yeah, yeah.
And your passport.
Your passport.
And your excuse.
Yeah, excuse to talk to anybody.
And even better, you can use me as an excuse. Hi, I need to make a photograph because I have an assessment due.
Yeah.
And usually, some people are always going to say no. Probably 2 out of every 10 people are going to say no.
I photographed what do they call them? That do rocks. Like a collector of rocks.
Oh, yep.
Like a
lapidary society.
Some sort of thing. Anyway, he was down. So for one of my TAFE assignments, it was something like, you know, come up with a portrait of some person that loves doing something or something. And so there was a guy down south of Euroa in my hometown that sells these gem sayings or whatever. So I sort of rang him up, said, I need a couple of photos for my assessment, do you mind? Didn't tell him that he was going to be in the photo. Just sort of went down there to shoot the stones, and then got talking to him, got confident. I was like, how about we do a couple of you for you? And I was emailing them to you. Like the best thing is like, I'll email them to you. Like sometimes you forget or you don't care and you don't give it to them. But the best thing is to try and like, I'll email it to you. Like, you know, and then they go, I feel like I've got something out of it. So,
and the trick on top of that, if I may, which I learned, is you give them your business card and say, email me, I'll reply with your photos. Then you've satisfied everything at your end. And if they reply back to you, if they write to you, then you do it. If they don't, you don't have to be like writing down Freddie at Gmail and then, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't... Yeah. I'll do that a lot too. I reckon that's the best, because I used to really stress if I'd asked, someone had done that.
Yeah, you email.
And you'd promise them you'd send it, and like.
Yeah. And a lot of times they won't email you, so it's.
So to have cards is a good thing too.
Oh yeah.
To be able to hand out.
Even a post-it with your name on it is just for that thing. Yes.
It's like one of those rock candies with your name just on the end of the rock candy.
Ruth.
Yeah.